how's it going?
Alright, are you? That's a proper old school place as well, isn't it?
Hello, my name's David and this is Gareth. That seems like that's the wrong way then.
Well, what is the point?
In the end it turned out to be nothing.
Well done, mate.
Yeah, well done.
Despite yet another evening of reckless drinking and a restless night where we both woke up several times thinking it must be time to get started, we decided to get up early in order to ensure we would reach our destination in plenty of time to meet my family. The final day's ride was to be 65 miles from York to the east coast town of Bridlington, which we anticipated would be an easier ride with very few hills. I grabbed the opportunity while David was in the shower to speak bleary-eyed to the camera before heading down for breakfast.
Well, it's day 3. Got up a bit earlier this morning to try and get going and make sure we're in Bridlington not too late. Drank far too much last night, so should be an interesting day.
When planning the coast-to-coast trip, one of the things I was most looking forward to was having a guilt-free, full English breakfast for 3 days in a row. With this in mind, I was very surprised to see David order chips for breakfast on day 1. He had said he didn't want to get fed up of bacon. Now, on day 3, I was getting sick of bacon, and so I followed David's lead and ordered the same odd combination of items as he did.
Scrambled egg on toast. Scrambled egg on toast, please. Could I have some mushrooms with it as well, please?
Can I have the same, please? That sounds really good.
After several coffees, we finally stopped procrastinating, checked out, retrieved our bikes from the strange courtyard in the middle of the building, and rode round to the front of the hotel for the obligatory starting photo. What followed was an aimless ride around the city trying to find our way back out onto the route. It was definitely a case of the blind leading the blind, as I tried to follow my GPS map and David tried to follow his nose.
Didn't we come in this way?
We came that way.
From there, so we're heading back where we came from. That seems like that's the wrong way then. Is it over the bridge maybe?
Eventually we managed to get some directions from a local and realised we were heading in exactly the wrong direction.
Well, they said go over the bridge, didn't they? Ugh. Good grief.
We enthusiastically hauled our heavy bikes over the footbridge
It's easier to carry it.
and headed back out past the Minster and onto a beautiful bike trail.
Alright, success, eh? I think we're out of York now, aren't we? Goodbye, York.
After riding for some time on busy roads, we finally ended up on a bumpy trail,
All in all, David, you chose the right bikes.
which once again confirmed we had made the right decision of choosing to ride mountain bikes rather than road bikes.
Actually, I don't feel as bad as I did yesterday, to be honest.
We both felt really good at this point in the day, and the scenery around us was beautifully reminiscent of the south of France and was very flat.
You know what this reminds me of? All those trails I did in France were like this. And David's desperate for a wee, and there's too many people around and it's been too busy, so... And all this shaking's making him feel worse. You going anyway? I reckon it's been very flat so far, so I'm feeling a bit suspicious about the next place name is Barnby Moor. We wonder if it's a moor that we could climb up or if it's just a name. Hopefully it's just a name.
After riding about 16 miles, we stopped at a caravan club water station, only to be disappointed to find that they were selling water bottles rather than offering the use of a free tap.
Water for sale. I thought it was going to be a tap. Bait and switch. That's disappointing. You need a wee, a Coke, some water, and a pork pie.
We decided to ride on and luckily found a place to get refreshments at Bridlington. The whole trip I had been dreaming of buying and consuming an entire pork pie, but alas, it was never to be.
Yeah, thanks to Bridlington for the double-decker bar and the Coke. Well, we've just seen Bridlington on a road sign for the first time. Got about 42 miles to go. This thing says it's going to take us another 3.5 hours, but I'm not sure about that. First hill of the day.
With 42 miles left to ride, we saw our first signpost for Bridlington and embarked on our first hill of the day.
Yeah, David was just saying we've not had a fallout yet, which is good.
It gets worse, unfortunately.
Oh no!
A fellow cyclist warned us that the hill would get much worse, We kept waiting for the suffering to start, but to our delight it never happened.
Well, that hill turned out to be nothing really at all. In the end it turned out to be nothing. Absolutely nothing. Crazy. And we got a bit of sunshine as well, which is great.
And we even enjoyed the first sunshine of the day.
22.9 miles.
It's very nice around here. That's the hill. Oh gosh, how will we ever make it up it?
After 23 miles at Millington, we saw an innovative use of an old red phone box. This one had been purchased and turned into a bike maintenance station by the nearby homeowner. My chain had become extremely noisy over the course of the day, and so we gratefully made use of the free oil and had a chat with the owner.
Oh, thanks Millington, brilliant. Thank you, see ya.
Next, the landscape changed dramatically again, this time reminding us both very much of Derbyshire and the Peak District.
David was just saying he thinks this landscape looks like Derbyshire. It's really astounding how much it changes in such a small distance. Nearly done, David, nearly there.
At Hudgate, with 36 miles left to go, David and I started lamenting the fact that our adventure was coming to an end and started contemplating the journey so far. This was to become the theme for the rest of the day.
You know, when I was like looking forward to it starting, in some ways not really wanting to rush it along because I knew it would be over before we knew it. I can't believe how many different types of terrain we've seen. Day one was just middle of nowhere most of the time, hardly any villages to stay in, just narrow, empty, winding, up and down country roads, beautiful scenery. Day two, the first half was similar and the second half was sort of more flat, and then coming into York it was just a trail by the river. And then today we've had towns, we've had something that looks like Norfolk, we've had things that look like Derbyshire, a little bit of hills, and now it feels like we're just coasting down. I mean, maybe there's more hills to come, but the person that just gave us use of his tools and his oil said that there's no more hills to come, so it's been absolutely brilliant. Before we came on this ride, we really sort of imagined it would be like riding around the Peak District, where you go from village to village. We've done rides before where we go from Rowsley to Matlock and you're stopping off, or you've got the potential to stop off and buy food or drink, no problem. That's what I imagined, whereas it's been a lot more remote and a lot less places to stop. David made it sound like they stopped for cake every 5 minutes last time, but we've certainly not seen that many places to stop for cake or anything really. Let's make sure we stop when we can. It's been great to be so remote.
With the sun shining, I was even starting to think I might need to stop and apply sunscreen. However, I decided to leave it and not tempt rain, and instead stopped to take painkillers for my poor, sore knees.
I'm just going to stop and take some ibuprofen just for my knee. Might as well, got it here. It's pointless having pain for the sake of it. There's a sign over here. I'm just going to show you that says 25 miles to Bridlington, and it's on one of the official Way the Roses signs. There it is, look.
With 25 miles left to go, we started the long countdown to Bridlington. By the time we reached Skirn, we were both really hungry, and so we started hunting for a place to get some lunch.
Hopefully we'll find some lunch here.
I found a cafe in a garden centre and headed towards it, but this was when David decided to tell me that garden centre cafes were against his religion, and he refused to eat there.
Apparently it's against David's religion to go to a garden centre cafe.
I hoped this was not our last chance for food, otherwise this might have been our first altercation of the trip.
I'm absolutely shocked, David, that over 100 and over many miles, that's the first time. Is it jam?
Also at Skirn, David stopped to deal with a jammed chain. Amazingly, especially given how little maintenance any of David's bikes receive, this was our only mechanical problem of the entire 180-mile journey.
One slight adjustment of gears earlier, yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, one slight adjustment of gears yesterday and then one chain off. 180 miles, amazing.
At Driffield, with 20 miles to go, we finally found an acceptable cafe in a beautiful village with an amazing view, where David had the opportunity to discuss his unique views on weight loss with a couple of locals.
Oh, I can really start trying to lose weight. And I think, so look, I never go over.
Cafe success.
We entered the cafe ready to order pretty much everything on the menu.
Do they not take cards?
I've got 10. How much have you got to so far?
I've got a fiver. No, I don't. I've got a few quid.
Then realised we had only just over £10 cash between us and discovered the cafe did not accept credit cards. We reluctantly cut our order back dramatically.
I think that should be under the magic number.
While waiting for our food, I decided I should take the opportunity to finally apply sunscreen. Better safe than sorry, because I burn really easily.
I'm the opposite. You're the opposite what? You don't burn? Or not? Pretty good. Or better sorry than safe, is that what it meant?
David claimed that he is the opposite, although in the time we have known each other, I've seen him severely sunburned many times. I suggested his motto is, better sorry than safe.
Thank you.
Both grateful for full bellies, we set off to continue the countdown to Bridlington. Now the landscape changed once again and was reminiscent of Norfolk with the same proliferation of railway level crossings. Near Lowthorpe I was finally warm enough to remove a few layers. I was now wearing the amount of clothes that I had originally optimistically planned for each day of the trip, rather than wearing the whole lot at once. David took this opportunity to continue his mission to befriend the entire country. With 10 miles left to go, we started getting more and more contemplative.
12 miles to... No, 10 miles to go, David.
You said it's 11 miles.
Yeah.
Go backwards.
So how do you feel about finishing, David?
It's been the most amazing 3 days with the best company.
Hey! And easier than last time, right? Definitely easier than last time.
Fantastic.
We're both a bit worried about finishing and how we're going to feel really sad.
With 5 miles to go, we became very excited to be able to see the sea.
Hey, we can see the sea! There it is, the sea. That's it, Bridlington, 5 miles. Just sent the text to Cat to let her know we'll be there in half an hour. So we measured 175 miles, last 5 miles too hard. Please come and get us.
At 2.5 miles to go, we realised all our water and food was gone, but we were buzzing too much to care.
2.5 miles. Got no water left, either one of us. Here we are, Bridlington.
We finally entered Bridlington with great excitement, and then to our surprise we appeared to be led back out by the map on my GPS device.
Less than a mile to go now, mate. I just got a text from Cat saying they're at the finish.
With 1 mile to go, I received a text message from my wife saying she was waiting at the finish line with my daughter.
Woo!
We were now reaching a frenzy, ringing our bells at a series of bewildered strangers. The route took us down onto the promenade as our hysteria reached a peak, and we stretched our necks like Meer Cats looking for the finish line and my waiting family.
Are you going to be the cheer, Millie?
What if it's not them?
It is them.
Finally we saw them and rode right up to the official Way of the Roses signpost for a photo opportunity and a chance to congratulate each other.
Well done, mate. Yeah, well done. Hiya. Hello!
We were duly informed that we stank and would have to ride home in the back of the car.
We can smell you coming.
You guys are sitting in the back. You guys are sitting in the back.
I've got to go and dip my bike in the water.
Yeah, it's
Why?
part of the tradition.
Tradition, you have to do it.
You have to put your tyres in the water.
We performed the ritualistic dipping of our wheels in the sea just like we had 3 days ago on the other side of the country. Then we headed into town for some well-deserved fish and chips and endless chatter about the adventure before embarking on the long drive home. When we finally got home, my daughter presented me with a fantastic trophy she had made out of a pebble she had found on the beach at Bridlington, and another one which I presented to David on her behalf a few days later.
Open it up.
Oh, I'm intrigued. Oh, she's made me one as well.
Yeah.
What's this for your
Oh, how nice is that?
Brilliant, isn't it? Off the beach from the beach in Bridlington, she
Oh,
got
is that
it.
where the steak came from?
Yeah.
I'm really touched by that.
Yeah, I was.
We had seen every possible type of English countryside, met many friendly people, lost and found a wallet, had a surprise encounter with a friend, drank far too much beer and spent some great quality time together. I learned that it can be enjoyable to chat with complete strangers and that I am capable of long distance cycling 3 days in a row, even with a hangover, and that there are surprisingly few cafes in the English countryside.